Aloha. This is Representative Barbara Marumoto, and today we're going to spend some time with an organization called HUGS. Now, I'm going to ask the Executive Director, Donna Witsell, what does HUGS stand for, Donna?
Well, thank you so much for having us. We are very thrilled to be here. And HUGS is an acronym for Help, Understanding, and Group Support. And our mission is to provide free services to families across the state who have children birth to age 21 who are diagnosed with life-threatening illnesses and catastrophic illnesses, and that is the main criteria in which to qualify.
It really must be difficult for families when they have one child that's very, very seriously ill.
It is. I remember one of our moms saying, at the time of diagnosis, when they were sitting in the doctor's office, the doctor's lips were moving, but she said it was sort of like a buzzing sound in her ears, because she said she couldn't imagine that the doctor was actually saying that her daughter had cancer. So for her, the reality of that was very overwhelming. And you'll often hear phrases like the rug is just suddenly pulled out right from under you, and parents have said they don't feel like their feet were touching the ground. Just a variety of emotions that are rushing in, a very scary time for parents.
So you offer them support, and what type of support would you offer?
Well, first of all, when we come into this setting, and my family services coordinator, Steve, or the family services specialist, Jeanette, would be the first in line when we go into the hospital setting. And we are invited in typically by the social worker, and the family would have given permission for us to visit with them. So we're very low-key when we go in, and we simply want to introduce ourselves and the services and get a feel for what it is that they need and kind of where they're at that time. And it's a very natural kind of free-flowing thing. And so we take the families where they're at that moment, and we go from there. And so there's an assessment process that's going on continually. If they're meeting in the hospital setting, it's a crisis-oriented, typically, interaction. And so it can vary differently if we were to meet the family sort of farther down the trail, so to speak.
So Steve Crocker, you're the family service coordinator.
Correct.
One of them.
Correct.
And so you often meet these people when they're in the hospital, and they must really be in distress. It must be traumatic for them.
Well, we meet them at all stages, and Donna had kind of alluded to, we tell them all about HUGS when we first meet them, but depending on how long they've had their child diagnosed, a lot of times they're completely in denial. So I may meet a family. At one time I met a family at Tripler. We do service everywhere in the state. And I asked them how long they had known their daughter had leukemia, and they said, we found out this morning, and both the parents burst into tears. And I told them all about our services and what we could do and what was available for them. But at the same time I was telling them that, I knew that they wouldn't remember. If they just even remembered they had met me 2 weeks later, it would be, they'd be lucky. And so we'd go through it again. So we're kind of there for support. And when the families do get involved, I mean, if your child's just diagnosed, the last thing you want to do is get involved. I mean, so many of our families, when they first get released from the hospital, maybe they're in for a couple months, they just want to go home and get back to normal. Then they start, months later, they may start coming to some of our events, and then after a while they get more and more involved. So they just want to get their lives back to normal, whatever their new normal is going to be.
New normal. That's an interesting phrase. Well, Catha Combs, you're the present treasurer of HUGS.
Yes.
You've been the president in the past, and you've been on the board for many years. We thank you for your service. But you're also a parent.
Yes.
So what does HUGS mean to you as a parent?
Well, I'll kind of take it from where Steve took off. I mean, my family's been with HUGS for about 12 or 13 years. So, we're kind of in a normalcy kind of state. And really, HUGS has been kind of like the stability throughout our family life to try and keep our family intact and provide lots of fun, happy times. So, for example, we have respites twice a month where my husband and I get a chance to have a little date, or even if it's just, run errands together without the kids. And then the kids go to the Hugs house in Kaimaki, and they have a blast, and they just play. It's fun. They have dinner there is provided, and so we can relax because we know the kids are having a great time. The kids look forward to it. When is the next respite? When can we go? And then we leave, and yay, we had a great time, So, and that's just one of many kinds of fun events that are provided. And fortunately, we haven't been in the hospital for a while, so we're able to attend those types of things. But many families go in and out of the hospital, so oftentimes a Hugs event is a goal, something that they look forward to. That, okay, if I can get out of the hospital by that date when family dinner is going to be, then yay, let's go. Yeah. So Hugs really provides. It's kind of like a safe, fun place. A place where you can network with other families that have been there, even if you have different diagnoses from what your child has. Like, more than likely, we've all been to the hospital, we've got things to juggle, there's always some medical issue that seems to come up.
I think what I've heard so much from the parents is that they can talk to each other, and another family with a catastrophically ill child understands what they're going through. Very often, their friends who don't have the same situation do not really understand their problems, but Hugs parents understand each other.
Yes, I think that's true. Oftentimes people are not sure how to approach you now because things are different, and they're afraid to even ask because maybe they might upset you, and they're not sure where you are in your crisis. Whereas at Hugs, everybody they can relax. And they can just, they can say, how are things going? And then you can see old friends that you see at many Hugs events, catch up and ask questions. Where did you get those medical supplies? How was it for your child when she went through chemo? What should I expect? And oftentimes Hugs families will talk on the phone to each other or visit at the hospital even. So it's just nice to know that somebody else has been there and what to expect.
That's wonderful. I know Hugs House is one of the first in the country of this type, and other states have all copied them and have them now too. And you're talking about the Hugs House, and I know it's at 3636 Kilauea Avenue above 12th Avenue in Kaimaki.
That's correct.